now, especially with Debo back, I think Purdy's going to be more comfortable. Shanahan's going to call the typical kind of game that he wants. And the Niners have been so dominant against the NFC this year. When they've been at full strength, they're going to be at full strength in this game. And that Lions pass defense, as we know, guys. I mean, they gave up like 7 yards per play against the Rams, 6.3 yards per play against Tampa. They can't stop anybody. So I think Purdy plays much better. I think Debo gets going. Ayuk has a monster game. Kittle as well. So yeah, if you like San Francisco to begin with, even before the uncertainty of Debo, you sure got to like him now that he's playing.
Yeah, half a point, maybe a full point to the market, like depending where you're looking. If you like San Francisco, I like BetMGM right now, even with the minus 120.
Well, we always like BetMGM.
Well, we love, absolutely. Yes. But if you like Detroit, like the true number, I mean, you could find some 7.5s out there, but you're laying minus 115. And then the same thing with the total. I like the over in this game. I really liked it at 50.5, but if you like it, you could still find some 51s. If you want to go under, you could find some 52s minus 110. And if you still want to go over, you could find a 51 minus 110. So I like it. There's a bunch of good prices still. It's going to be a big prop weekend for me, though.
Yep.
Because I like the over, but I don't love it. I mean, I liked the over in the Green Bay-San Francisco game. We had a wet football. Game didn't get close to going over. I guess we could say it got kind of close to getting over. And then I like the under in Kansas City-Baltimore. But I want to wait and see what the weather looks like. I mean, we're expecting some rain, I know. But, I mean, today it's 70 degrees. That's why I'm not sick or anything. My allergies are killing me because my immune system thinks that it's July right now.
What can you tell us about what to expect from Andrews and Likely, that dynamic? Are they going to be on the field a bunch? Is it just going to go back to their normal roles, how it was earlier in the year? What would you do if you're betting those two guys?
I mean, guys, I hate to give a non-answer, but I have no idea. Because, look, we saw Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely not play a lot on the field together prior to the injury. They only played 11% of the snaps on the field at the same time prior to Mark Andrews going down. And Isaiah Likely only had 9 catches, and he's been popping off. 6 touchdowns in the 7 games without Mark Andrews. I would say this when it comes to Mark. He's going to be on a pitch count. We know that that's going to happen. But areas in which I see him playing, third downs and red zone, I did sprinkle some money on a Mark Andrews anytime touchdown because, it's kind of the best odds you're going to get with a Mark Andrews this week. I could see that. Both of these players have been great threats in the red zone. I don't expect Isaiah Likely's play time to drop significantly at all. I would not be afraid of betting any of his props. But as far as Mark Andrews and his receiving prop, I don't know if I'm going to touch that this week. Maybe sprinkle a little on an anytime touchdown.
Let's stick with props, actually. Been talking about this all week. Lamar rushing yards went from mid-50s, now to, 65.5 rushing yards over at BetMGM, and it's minus 115 to the over. It's obviously a great matchup. That's where Kansas City really struggles. They struggle against quarterbacks that are mobile. What do you think about this number now, though, at 65.5? Do you think this is a big Lamar rushing game, or do you like maybe Gus Edwards or Justice Hill a little bit more here?
I think kind of all of the above. I will say before getting to Lamar, I love Justice Hill in this game. I love Justice Hill, and one of my favorite props of the week, over on Justice Hill receptions at 2.5. You can get plus money. I got it at plus 152. It might have fallen a little bit since then. Chiefs defense, they've given up 26 catches to running backs over the past 4 weeks. Gus Edwards, he'll catch a ball or two, but Justice Hill, I think he's going to go over that total. But back to Lamar, I still would bet the over on his rushing. Guys, you look at the 5-game sample size, playoff games, rushing yards per game, minimum of 5 games. Lamar's in the top 5. It's crazy, and it's Hall of Fame running backs surrounding him, and then Derrick Henry. It's an by any means necessary type football game for the Ravens, and definitely for Lamar Jackson. And when in doubt, he's going to lean into his legs, and I think we're going to see a lot of that on Sunday.
So we talked about Lamar Jackson, right? A lot of pressure on him. A lot of pressure on, any quarterback that's at this point in the season. But that doesn't mean that everybody feels the same way, right? And I think Lamar Jackson right now, in these playoffs, has more riding on him than everybody except one quarterback, and that's Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy actually has more pressure on him than anybody else in the playoffs because at least we know what Lamar Jackson is. He's an MVP that's gotten paid, that has a team built around him that they're committed to long term. What commitment does have the 49ers given to Brock Purdy? Absolutely nothing. I love what his story is, and I love what he's done. But there are far more questions surrounding Brock Purdy as the long-term answer still at quarterback for the 49ers. And can he lead a team back if they're down late? Can he throw the football accurately in the rain? Can he be a guy that helps lead them to not just the playoffs, not just the NFC Championship game, but to a Super Bowl win? Brock Purdy has more to prove than anybody else that's left out of these four quarterbacks in the playoffs, and I don't even think it's close.
Yeah, you know what? That's a really good point. I mean, if you look at it financially, right? Like, he might have to move in with his parents, like Tommy DeVito, if he doesn't not. I mean, I'm kidding, of course, but he was Mr. Irrelevant. You're going to hear that a billion times again coming up on Sunday. But you know what I mean? Like, he hasn't got that one big deal, that quarterback money yet, and that's what it comes down to. I mean, yeah, winning a Super Bowl is great, and winning games is great, but making money, that's the best thing ever right there. And that's what I mean, like, because if he doesn't win this game, or let's say he plays poorly and then he doesn't win the Super Bowl, plays bad against, let's say it's a rematch against Baltimore and he plays like he did on Christmas Day, I mean, you're going to have schmucks on the internet like myself last Sunday that are like, well, Sam Darnold can make that throw. So that's a good point. Like, I think all the pressure's on Lamar. At first it was he can't win a playoff game. He can't beat Patrick Mahomes. Now he's won a playoff game. He's beat Mahomes in the regular season. Now he's got a chance to do it to, in his first AFC Championship game to go to his first Super Bowl. So coming into this, looking at this, I thought, yeah, Lamar, but that's a good point, man. Purdy, yeah, especially because in the NFL, with that team, it's almost like Super Bowl or bust already. If they run it back next year with all those dudes, Kittle and all those guys on the defensive side of the ball, and Kirk Cousins is out there,
that's
his
Kyle's
relationship
guy.
with Kyle.
That's Kyle Shanahan's guy.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, he's got to at least perform here. You know, I don't know that he needs to win the game, but he can't go out there and throw 3 picks.
Were you surprised that they didn't hire an offensive coach with all that talent? Because their defense was much improved last year. We know the quarterback position is what's holding Atlanta back. Were you surprised that they didn't hire an offensive head coach?
No, because they had one, and in Arthur Smith. So I didn't think they, keep going down that path. So they were wanting to change for a reason, and so I didn't think they would go offense. Although they did talk to some of the great offensive minds that are out there in this cycle, Brian Callahan and Bobby Slowick, and a great job he did with C.J. Stroud down there. So no, that wasn't a surprise. It was pretty much Belichick or bust. But they thought they could talk him into a collaborative situation. He clearly wasn't amenable to that, and so they went with their second candidate, which was Raheem Morris, right from the outset.
Listening to BetMGM tonight, we're talking right now with D. Orlando Ledbetter. All right, so I don't know. I know you've been covering the team for a while. I know that you know all the higher-ups, all the management. I want to try to do you guys a favor. You're sitting there right now, round 1, pick number 8. You need a quarterback, and I know there's a lot of talk about Justin Fields, and I love Justin Fields, but I think you got to talk to some people, and you got to move up for Jaden Daniels. I love Jaden Daniels. I think he would be the perfect fit in this offense, but what do you think that Atlanta should do? They're sitting there at 8. Do you think they should move up, or do you think maybe you move a second, third-round pick for a veteran, like Justin Fields to come in and run this offense? What do you think they should do at that position?
Yeah. My deal would be to go get Jaden, no question about it. Yeah. That's the most electric one that that's out there that fits to their scheme. Kirk Cousins would make sense too, but I don't know. That's just a short-term fix. But the problem with Jaden Daniels is that up at the top of the draft is, Chicago, Washington, New England. They all need quarterbacks. They're not trading out of there. So that's going to be hard. And then at 8, there, I don't think you can take Penix at 8. I don't think J.J. McCarthy goes at 8. So then you're in the same boat. You're looking for gold in the second and third round. And, we've seen that hasn't been a good thing in the last few years when you look at, Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder, Malik Willis, so forth and so on.